Now, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a 2022 reboot of the 1974 original. Now, this film tells the story of how a group of social media influencers seeking to revitalize a small town does so at the behest of the local residents. But when an accident causes one of the locals to die, her last surviving family member is seeking vengeance. And here are 5 reasons you should watch this movie. Reason number 1, influencers.
The restaurant will be first, and we have to just inspire more people to follow.
So social media stars Dante Spivey and his girlfriend Ruth have decided to bring their progressive values to Harlow, Texas. And in doing so, they want to take the area, gentrify it with as many like-minded individuals as they can find. Now, in an effort to bring the town back to life, the crew is set on building Harlow in their image to make it a more liberal utopia that will attract more new blood with new ideas. Now, while the idea seems perfect in theory, it's not popular amongst those living there.
Oh, please, be respectful for the town.
Reason number 2, locals.
So you guys are what, like a cult?
We're idealistic individuals who want to build a better world.
Yeah, that's a cult.
Now, the local residents of Harlow, Texas are not fans of influencers Dante, Ruth, Lila, and Melody. Now, while the group plans to revitalize Harlow, people living there aren't very welcoming. Now, Harlow, Texas is a traditional Texas area. And by that, they are a city full of gun-toting, Confederate flag flying, small-town conservatives who are set in their ways. Now, the idea of city folk looking to make it better rubs everyone there the wrong way. Now, they consider Dante and his crew to be troublemakers and just want to be left alone. However, Melody and Lila have ties to the area, and if anyone can make the locals warm up to the crew, it would be those two. But Melody has a problem with open carry. The reason being, her sister Lila is a survivor of a recent school shooting, and she's very protective of her. But in Texas, everything is bigger, including the guns.
Sure, big gun makes you uncomfortable.
I've seen bigger.
Reason number 3, Jenny.
What are you doing in our house?
Meet Virginia Jenny McCumber, a longtime Harlow native and one of the oldest living residents. Although in bad health, Jenny still runs the town's only orphanage, a place that she's been in charge of for nearly 50 years. But during those 50 years, Jenny has helped manage and rehabilitate a bunch of troubled youths. Now, according to her, she's dealt with all sorts of people from different backgrounds and with different issues. But at some point prior to the film, it is told that Jenny lost ownership of the orphanage and she's been living there illegally. However, she insists that she's worked things out with the bank and she's within her rights to stay at the orphanage. But her ownership of the property is challenged by Dante and his crew. And when she refuses to move out of the home, Dante calls the cops and attempt to forcefully remove her. But then she dies.
Sheriff, I think she croaked.
Reason number 4, Jenny dies. While being removed from the orphanage, Jenny suffers a heart attack and would need medical care. But on her way to the hospital, she dies. But at the same time, Dante and his friends become aware that Jenny does have legal ownership of the orphanage and that she likely died from the stress of being illegally removed. And while that is tragic in and of itself, her last surviving relative is angry. And it's not so much that he's angry, it's who he is. Yes, for the past 50 years, Jenny has been taking care of Kenneth Kenny Slaughter. Now, Kenny is a tall brute who is verbally mute. But back in 1973, Kenny, along with his family, murdered a group of youths named Kurt, Pam, Jerry, and Franklin in one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Reason number 5, Massacre. Now, prior to her death, Jenny tried to warn the cops and the influencers not to remove her from her home. She insists that it's for the good of her adoptive son, Kenny. She also said that for 50 years, she's managed to keep Kenny normal, that should he be made to live outside, it would be a bad idea if they were put out of their home. However, what the influencers weren't aware of was that Kenny is the infamous Leatherface. Yes, the serial killer who chops up people with his chainsaw, skins their faces, and wears it as a mask. So the only one who was capable of keeping Leatherface from killing people just died. And when Jenny died, his humanity died with her. And most importantly, he witnessed the entire incident unfold as both the influencers and cops caused the death of his mother. And yes, this movie lives up to the title because Leatherface goes home and grabs his chainsaw and he runs roughshod over everyone in Harlow, Texas. No! the end, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a bloody mess. Now, what do I mean? It had tons of gore, great kills, and a really neat story. But when making a Texas Chainsaw film, you want a high body count. And you are there for the story and the blood. I must say that this movie delivers in spades. However, the movie could have been much better. Now for starters, Leatherface is at his best when he's part of an ensemble, part of a crew, a clan, a family if you will. He needs to be told what to do. He needs a father or a mother figure to make him the family's muscle. But when you remove his family from the movie, you make Leatherface basically a Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers. And it's not Leatherface. If you don't have a person making or directing him to kill, and he's just a mentally retarded man-child. But this movie still was a lot of fun, and it's not a bad movie. It's however just not one of the best Texas Chainsaw movies. Now this movie left a lot of meat on the bone. At the end of the day, I still recommend it. And until next time, when CED talks horror.
Fuck off.